Every year during open enrollment, millions of people are handed a list of health insurance plans to choose from. And somewhere on that list, there's a column that says HMO, PPO, EPO, or HDHP. Most people pick one based on price, or because they picked the same type last year, or because a coworker told them what they use. Here's the thing though, picking the right plan type actually matters a lot. Not just for your monthly premium, but for how much you pay when you actually need care, which doctors you can see. And in the case of one plan type, whether you're leaving a significant tax benefit completely on the table. So let's go through each one, what they are, how they work in real life, and the questions that actually help you figure out which one is right for your situation. HMO. Health Maintenance Organization. The HMO is built around a primary care physician, your PCP, who acts as the central coordinator for your care. To see a specialist, whether that's a cardiologist, an orthopedist, a dermatologist, anything beyond primary care, you typically need a referral from your PCP first. They essentially serve as a gatekeeper for specialist access. Now, on top of the referral requirement, HMOs are generally in-network only. If you see a provider outside the plan's network for non-emergency care, you typically pay the full cost yourself, no coverage from your plan. Now, in exchange for those restrictions, HMOs tend to be the most affordable option. Lower monthly premiums, lower copays, lower out-of-pocket costs in general. If you're choosing between plan types purely on cost, the HMO is usually at the bottom of the price list. HMOs make the most sense if you're generally healthy. You use the same doctor consistently. You don't have a regular need for specialists, and you live in an area with a solid HMO network that covers providers that you're comfortable with. PPO. Preferred Provider Organization. The PPO is the most popular plan type in the US. According to KFF data, about 46% of people enrolled in employer-sponsored health plans are in a PPO. And there's a clear reason for that. It gives you the most flexibility. With a PPO, you don't need a referral to see a specialist. Want to see a dermatologist? You call and make an appointment. No gateway required. You can see any doctor you want, in-network or out-of-network, and your plan will provide some level of coverage either way. In-network care costs less because those providers have agreed to negotiated rates. Out-of-network care is more expensive, but it's not a complete black hole the way it is in an HMO. PPOs typically come with higher premiums than HMOs or high-deductible plans. That's the direct trade-off. You're paying for access and flexibility, and that costs more per month whether you use it or not. So PPOs are the right choice if you have existing relationships with specific doctors or specialists that you want to keep seeing. If you live in an area with limited network options, and being able to go out of network matters. If you travel frequently and want coverage that follows you, or if you simply value not having to navigate a referral process every time you need a specialist. The cost premium for a PPO is real. Compare the monthly premium difference against what the flexibility is actually worth to you based on how you use healthcare. EPO. Exclusive Provider Organization. The EPO sits between an HMO and a PPO, and it's worth knowing how it actually works because it's easy to confuse with both of them. Like a PPO, you don't need a referral to see a specialist with an EPO. You can self-refer. That removes the gatekeeper friction of the HMO. But like an HMO, you're restricted to in-network providers. If you go out of network for non-emergency care, it's generally not covered at all. Not partially covered, not covered. EPOs are often priced somewhere between HMOs and PPOs, which makes them an interesting middle option. You get the no referral convenience of a PPO with the in-network only restriction of an HMO at a price that reflects that trade-off. EPOs make sense if you want to be able to see specialists directly without a referral, and you've checked that the plan's network covers the providers you actually use. The key question with any EPO is my doctor in this network? If the answer is yes, for everyone you care about, the EPO can be a smart, cost-effective choice. Before I get into the HDHP, I want you to stay with me through this section, because what I'm about to explain on the HSA math is the part that most people miss, and it genuinely changes the calculus on which plan is worth picking. HDHP, High-Deductible Health Plan. The HDHP is fundamentally different from the other three. and it's easy to misunderstand if you only look at the deductible number. So first, an HDHP isn't a network type the way an HMO, PPO, or EPO is. An HDHP describes a cost structure. It can be structured like an HMO or a PPO on the network side. What makes it an HDHP is that the deductible meets or exceeds the IRS minimum threshold. In 2026, that's at least $1,650 for individual coverage or $3,300 for family coverage. Now, because the deductible is higher, the monthly premium is typically lower than comparable plans. You're taking on more upfront cost when you need care in exchange for paying less each month. Here's what actually makes the HDHP interesting. It's the only plan type that qualifies you for a health savings account or HSA. And the HSA is where the real financial advantage lives. So when you're enrolled in a qualifying HDHP, you can contribute to an HSA up to $4,300 for individual coverage or $8,550 for family coverage in 2026. Let me walk through the triple tax advantage of this account because it's genuinely one of the best tax advantage tools available. First, your contributions go in pre-tax. If you're in the 22% federal tax bracket, putting $4,300 into your HSA saves you about $946 in federal taxes in the year you contribute. Second, the money in your HSA grows tax-free. If you invest your HSA balance in index funds and don't touch it, the growth isn't taxed. Third, when you withdraw money for qualified medical expenses, including doctor visits, prescriptions, dental, vision, and many other costs, you pay no tax on it at all. That's contributions untaxed, growth untaxed, and withdrawals for medical costs untaxed. Nothing else in the tax code does all three simultaneously. For someone in their 30s or 40s who stays in an HDHP for a decade, contributing the annual maximum each year and invests rather than spends the balance, that account can grow into a meaningful asset. HDHPs make the most sense if you're in generally good health, if you can handle higher upfront costs in a bad year, if you want lower monthly premiums, and if you're genuinely going to contribute to the HSA and take advantage of the tax structure. The three questions that drive the decision. First, how often do you actually use healthcare? Not how often you think you might, but how often you actually have in recent years. If you're healthy, rarely need care beyond annual checkups, and don't have regular prescriptions, the lower premium of an HDHP may save you money overall, even with the higher deductible. If you have regular appointments, ongoing medications, or chronic conditions, lower cost sharing at time of service from an HMO or PPO may be worth the higher premium. Second, do you have specific providers that you need to keep seeing? Before you enroll in anything, check whether your current doctors are in network. If your primary care physician or your kid's pediatrician are all in network on the HMO, that's worth knowing. If you're mid-treatment with a specialist who isn't in the HMO network, that's a concrete reason to choose the PPO even at a higher cost. Third, are you going to actually use the HSA? If you're on an HDHP and you're not opening an HSA and contributing to it, you're taking on the high deductible without getting the financial upside. The HSA is what makes the HDHP worth it for most healthy people. If you know you won't contribute, or if your cash flow makes it hard to absorb a higher deductible in a bad year, a lower deductible plan may give you better peace of mind, even if it costs more per month. HMO is lower cost, requires referrals, and it's in-network only. PPO gives you the maximum flexibility, there's no referrals, and it covers in and out of network, but has a higher premium. EPO is no referrals, in-network only, and priced between HMO and PPO. HDHP has a high deductible, lower premium, and the only plan type that unlocks the HSA triple tax advantage. The right one depends on how you actually use healthcare, which providers you need access to, and whether the HSA math makes sense in your financial picture. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if this was useful. We cover health insurance in plain terms. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you here in the next video.